All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are here. Let me click one more button. All right, let's see. And all right, we are live, live, live. What's going on, everyone out there? Hope everybody's doing good, great, and amazing, and all of that good stuff. Let's see. Let me hook this up. Let me get some water. So, good morning. How is everyone out there? I hope everyone is doing good, great, and amazing. Happy Thursday as we end the month of June. I hope that y'all are having a pretty good June. You know, as we roll into the one of the hottest months of the year, baby, July. Here we come. It's almost the fourth here in the states, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see. So we're gonna get straight right into it. So today we are talking about raising of the bar. Yes, today we're talking about raising the bar. So I was thinking what can I talk about on today? So, we're talking about raising the bar, and then raising the bar. In this season, you have to stay consistent. Whatever it is that you're doing, wherever you are on your path right now and on your journey, then I do feel that things are going. Like I said, we're heading into the month of July, baby. Let me see if I can move this. Did it flip? Let me see. Uh, so we are heading into the month of July, and by heading into the month of July, things are really and truly about to be heating up. You are in a very unique space right now. It really, for me, and in my life, it really, I can look at my life and say, I am not that same person that I used to be, man. I'm not, because for me now, there's a lot of focus. There's more get up and go. There's more like, you know what, I like if I don't do it, if you don't do it, then it won't be done. We pray, we manifest, but when these things come in, we have to be ready. We have to go. We have to like. It's almost like It's almost like the feeling is that have. It's almost like the feeling is like have your bags packed. Like really and truly, the feeling right now is like have your bags packed because it is really and truly time to go. What is going on? How are you? So, the important thing is that have your bags packed because it is time to go. And don't forget to subscribe wherever you are out there. It feels like there's a lot of movement going on in your life. There are feels like things are about to be revealed, so to speak. It really does feel like things are about to be revealed in your life. This is not commonplace. This is not somewhere. These are. This is a place that you've never been before. You're a person that you've never been before. You're in a very amazing and a unique time where you're going to, the things that are going to be coming into your life like very, very, very soon, and even in the now, are going to be blowing your own mind. We're living in a time where, if you watch the news, you could really start freaking out. It's like, yeah. But anyway, you're in a you're in a very you're going to be in a very, very, very blessed position. I remember I went to go over my cousin. I got a chance to see my cousin Monday, and we were looking at his balcony, and so there were like all of these birds, like these little different color birds and butterflies, and there was a lot of activity going on. And I told him, I said that a lot of people believe that walk a spiritual path, that a lot of those people believe that When you start to see like your spirit animals or butterflies, all that stuff. There's a metamorphosis that is happening in your life, and I am very, for me personally, I'm a deep believer in that because seeing is believing, and I've seen it time and time and time again. All kind of different all kind of different spiritual animals in prayer and meditation and all of these different things. So I know these things to be facts. So with that said, I know that there's a lot of I know that there's a lot of changes that are coming, but you have to continue to be diligent. There's a time where you're going to just be able to there are times where you're going to be able to kind of sit back and enjoy those moments as you should. You really should sit back and enjoy those moments. You should enjoy the fruits of your labor. You should enjoy the fruits of those manifestations. And I'm getting forbidden fruit, not for you, but for other people. What you have growing on your tree, this is just for you and the season. I'm getting like the story of the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve and all of that good stuff. So um, be mindful of the snakes that are trying to come into your garden or the snakes that are probably already in there. You may see some people from your past kind of showing up, but you know that you're new, you're brand new. You're focused, you're more dedicated. You're a different you're a different breed of individual now. You're a different animal. You are more than a conqueror. You've been asking for more. So that's why let me see, hold on, let me see if I can get this together. That is why you are that is why okay. Yep. Yep. So, that is why in the now, you are going to be receiving more. So that's why now we're talking about raising the bar. You know, that is why right now we're talking about raising the bar. And thank you to my haters out there on YouTube. Hi guys. They love showing up and making little crazy comments. But anyway, you have so much more to focus on than worrying about little insects in your garden. You do. You really and truly do. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you have the biggest and brightest future that you are going to ever see in your life and that you are ever going to imagine. That's why we're talking about raising the bar. Now I was thinking about this while I was in the gym, and I was thinking like, as you continue to exercise and focus and your body changes and you lose weight and that weight turns to muscle, you can start to lift more. You can start to take on more. You feel better. You feel better because hey, what's going on, Miss Kelly? You feel better because you know that you've been dedicated, you've been focused, that you're ready. You're ready for the times um that have prepared you for this. Okay, cool. Yeah, so and I'm getting that I'm getting that they bet the wrong horse. That's what I'm getting. I'm really and truly getting that I'm getting that they bet the wrong horse this time. And you're not relegated in this season to play anything small. This is going to be one of the greatest roles of your life. This is game changing. This is game changing for me. This is game changing. This is game changing for you, where you move into something that is, this is game changing for you, where you move into something that changes everything. Let me grab my water. So this is game changing for you, where you're moving into something different. You're moving into a different time space, time zone. This is just I'm seeing flights. I'm seeing you. I'm seeing flights. I'm seeing you taking off. I'm seeing you. Um, I'm getting like the Chamber of Commerce. So I'm seeing your business doing great. I'm seeing your business doing great numbers. Um, because you said, what, something has to change, and so you went and you did something different and unique that changed it. You continue to put in the work, while the summertime, some people like to relax and whatever. You continue. You were more forthcoming with yourself. You wrote down goals. You were diligent and knocking those goals out. You are now, and in the future you are going to be so much more tremendously blessed, because you continue to believe. You didn't believe the hype like everybody else, saying, not one to um this thing. I'm not one to throw my beliefs on other people, but while other people were saying, oh, there is no blah 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 blah, you still believed. Like I always believe that there is a God, and all of that good stuff. So a lot of times it's all in how it's perspective. It really, really, really true. It really and truly, it really and truly, it is perspective. You could say, well, man, you know what? It's like this. Like that rap song. It's like this. Wait, it's it's like that because that's the way it is. Huh. But you, you know that things are, that things are transforming, and that things are really and truly you think, that you could say, like, man, you know what? It's like this, but I'm kind of happy it's like this, because that situation could have went left, like, really, really, really quick. Like, I could have really found myself um in a very, very, very crazy situation, like, um really not liking the decision that I made, or the decisions that I made, or where I am, and and all of that good stuff. Sometimes what did Denzel say in that movie? Um, when you pray for rain, you have to deal with the mud that comes with it. And I believe, so a lot of times people are ill equipped to deal with the with the because they have on these nice shoes, and they think, like, oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna pray for this. It's gonna come in. Things are gonna get better. Yes, but we're what did it say? Spiritual beings, human existence. So we're still down here. We're still, we still have to deal with the muck, so to speak. But the beautiful thing about it is that the calculations are, the math is mathing for you. The calculations are, in your favor, so to speak. So it's like, since you've been through all of this and that, whatever comes your way now, you handle it. You handle it significantly better on so many different levels. When the old you would have been very much so. I'll just say the old you would have been very much so, like, teed off about that situation, and you would have wanted to grab somebody, and I'm not saying give them a hug, a bear hug. Seriously, but the you and this now, you're able to, able to so much be able to, like, bench press so much more, get under that bar. You're able to do, you're able to go beyond, honestly. You might say, "Oh, well, I was thinking, man, what if all of the great things to come would have happened? What if all of those great things that are that are coming, what if those things would have happened earlier in my life? I probably would have blew those opportunities. I was, when you look back at your younger self, you're like, man, what in the hell was I doing? Like, what was I thinking? Like, where did the time go? You think back to then, and you look back at it now. And if this is your first time watching me, don't forget to subscribe. You think back, you're like, man, you know what? It's like that old question, if you could go back and if you could go back, talk to your younger self, what would you say, and how would that conversation go? Like if you could go back, say one thing, a few things, like what would you, like your what would you tell your younger self? I would tell my younger self just to stay committed, man. Like, just stay committed. You're going to be okay. Don't worry about other people's opinions that you come across, especially like on these jobs and stuff like that. As most of those people are haters anyway, so just keep going, keep building, but anyway, but if, the opportunities that I've had, recently, if I would have had those when I was young up, I just wasn't focused. I don't, the maturity level that I have now, I did not have back then. I know how to easily walk away from stuff, so that it doesn't become a big major issue. I know how not to go certain places, so I don't find myself, in like one of those crazy movie or TV scenes. You know what I mean? Where the cops are called, like really and truly. So I am the mission is still the mission is still ongoing for me, and I feel like for a lot of you, and we've grown, like we've seen so much, we've been through so much. Now um a lot of the stuff, it's just putting in the time, to do it, because these things are going to be happening for you, like the greater things that are going to be coming into your life. These things are really and truly going to be coming, and these things are going to be I was driving Monday. I had to drive, out of town, and I saw this buzzard circling, and every time, this when the buzzard circles, there's like dead, there's like some kind of dead meat or animal or something like that. Do you see any dealing with Oh, yeah. If you're here listening, if I'm telling you, yes, you can listen. You could take that to the bank that things are going to be changing in your life. But I saw this buzzard circling, and that tells me that your blessings are circling. Your blessings are circling around you. Sometimes we do have to look up to move forward. That's just what that is. Through your prayer life, and I'm not just saying, oh, just pray, and everything will be okay. But okay, we need prayer and action too to go along with that. They say 1 plus 1 equals 2. So we really and truly we want the math to add up. We do. One thing I saw a clip of the rapper actor LL Cool J, and he was talking about this guy from, he was like, man, I had this producer from Lafayette, Louisiana. Every show he went on, the producer wasn't even with him, but he kept mentioning his name. He mentioned his name looked like over 40 different times. So people are mentioning your names in rooms that, you know, they're gonna be like, they may see you somewhere and they're gonna be like, wow, you know what? Man, we dropped the ball. Man, we really should have given, instead of We should have bought, but hey, when you know you're you're a cut above the rest. You really are. When sometimes you're a once in a lifetime opportunity. That is what that is. If somebody fumbles the bag, fumbles the ball, if someone fumbles you out of their life, that's it. There is no going back. Seriously, there is no. Oh, can I make this right? No, yeah, you're good. You're, you, you're off to the races because you have other things to do. So if that person has your attention right there and you're telling them, hey, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, they don't jump on the opportunity. It's not on you, it's on them at this point, really and truly. So if that, and that's just it's just bottom line with it, because you have things to do. You might, if you're nice enough, you might say, hey, I might circle back, whatever, whatever, but you're continuing to grow. you know you reached out, they didn't respond for whatever reason. You have things to do, because you're gonna have yeah, a lot of people a lot of people have this fly by night syndrome. They think that you're just another number, you're just another name. That's what they're thinking in their minds. When they see you, cuz they're so caught up in the rat race. They're so caught up, oh well, that person is just like and that is the furthest thing from the case. No, there's only one me. There's only one me with my skill set, and whatever, whatever, whatever. And that's just what that is. And the same thing for you. There's only one unique you, and those people try to undercut you and say stuff about you, and oh, it was all their fault. That's why we're in this situation, and blah 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 blah. Maybe sometimes you thought that, and hey, we've all messed up. That's okay, but hey, we're still here, right? We lived, we learned, we fought those battles, we got the scars. The big and the beautiful and the blessed thing about it is that we don't look like what we've been through. These are not times where these are not times where you throw in the towel. It's not. These are just not times where you know I mean, we all have a lot going on in our lives. We have a lot. A lot of us have gone through some stuff where we should be curled up in a fetal position, like just, you know, like oh Lord, just like oh woe is me, Lord, what, you know what I mean? And like really and truly, but here we are, clear mind, another day, focus, set, ready. The opportunity shifts, it comes your way. Baseball analogy, they throw the ball, you're right there at the bat, knocked it out of the park, grand slam home run. You keep winning the game. You keep winning. You win your World Series or whatever it is. Whatever sport you follow, you insert that. But that's the thing. You're going to move forward, and you're going to move forward, and you're going to keep winning. That's the big, the beautiful, and the, for a lot of people, unimaginative, because they don't. What in the world is all of this? Ooh, now we're good. So that's because you just have it like that. You have it like that. Looking at, if you made a list of about your life, the positives are always going to outweigh the negatives. Of course, there's gonna be little things like, blah blah blah. Some people are like, I wish I was taller, or I whatever, I wish I'd lived here, or how it goes. But um, that's interesting. But the amazing thing is that you're, man, people, Or people, if they haven't, people are going to start looking at you as an overachiever. It feels like everything is starting new. Sorry. It feels like it feels like everything is starting over for you. It's like it's moving forward. It's like it feels like everything is kind of like brand new in a sense. It really does. It really does feel like everything is starting over. For you, like you're starting high school over. You're going to be that student that you always dreamed to be. You're going to have all honors classes. You're graduating with all honors. You're going to have like a close to a 4.0. You know what I mean? You're going to be like so focused. You're going to be doing these things. What's going on, Miss Wheat? So, you're going to be doing these things like in the next I'll say in the next phases of your life. You're going to be doing these things effortlessly. Like people, it's almost like people are going to be setting, it's almost like people are going to be setting things up for you. Like really and truly. You walk into the buffet and you see all of this food and you're like, where do I start? That's the opportunities. You see all of these big, you see all of these uh you see all of these amazing opportunities, really and truly, even from like where you are right now. You see like, let me just take this out. You see all of these amazing. You're gonna see all of these amazing opportunities. Now, are you gonna probably be able to do everything? Not all at once. No. Look, you're probably going to have a vision in your mind of I was about to go live at once. Oh, hey, well, thank you for stopping in. You're going to have a vision very soon. Maybe call it a spiritual download of things that are coming. Some things maybe things may be unseen, but things that you can feel, things that you're gonna see. It's gonna be a This is gonna be a very very big download for you. You're gonna get this download. You're gonna see all of these beautiful things. You may see some people that you may be working with. Very soon. I've been having very interesting dreams. I've been having, the last few nights, I have been having very, very interesting dreams. I'll just say that when you have these dreams, daydreams, these thoughts, don't please write them down. Don't let these opportunities, because sneak previews of coming attractions, like really and truly, sneak previews of coming attractions, like very, very, very soon, in in your life. Imagine yourself going to this amusement park and imagine everybody standing in these long lines and imagine the people like, oh hey, Mr. or Mrs., they grabbing you and you going straight to the front of the line. That's what it is. So you're no longer, you're no longer going to be in a position, um you're no longer going to be you're no longer going to be in a position where you have to wait in line. Mother was over. It will be a new chapter, trying to build a new life for my kids and I. Yeah, and you may be moving too. You may be moving. Because I know when you moved before, you were in a house, you were settled in, but something about it is changing. You're looking. You're looking at that. You're looking at it differently now. So there may be a move. I'm getting new home, new I'm getting new home, new way of life, just a lot of brand new that are coming in for you, and that's going to trickle over for the next few months. But the beautiful thing is for you, for me, we're raising the bar. We really and truly for that something. Okay, so really and truly, we are raising the bar. It's almost like you have hey, how are you? It's almost like you have this this Jedi mindset, this Jedi mentality. Um, it feels like it feels like you walk in spirit. It feels like, it feels like the Holy Ghost is over you. Your ancestors are always around you. If you don't believe in that, cool. But it feels like that's what it's feeling like in the spirit, in the supernatural to the natural. Because you know that we are never alone. We if you have the heart of God, if you have that, if you wear your full, we have to wear a full armor every day. You know what it is. You have to wear your, you have to wear your, um, yeah. So it's by the spirit, like not by sight but by faith. It's how you're walking. Some people might hear that and they might say, man, that sounds like something, blah 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 would say. But you know better. You know where your blessings come from. From where and from whom your blessings come from. If God works in the omnipresent. So we know that when you walk with God, it's going to be okay, but you have to go through some stuff. That's just, um was it the story of Job in the Bible, how he went through all of that? You know what I mean? He was just chilling, minding his business. And it's like it's like all of this, whatever starts happening, and it's like, come on, man, I'm just sitting here, whatever, whatever. But but you're about to have not a moment, but moments where you get everything back. The court case is going to go in your favor. If you're somebody and you're trying to go to court over something, that's going to work out. That's going to work out tremendous, more than tremendously. See somebody getting a new house. Somebody getting prepared to take a test that's going to change their life forever. Not just their life, but the trajectory of not just their life, but the trajectory, the trajectory of their family. People are going to hear about you generations from down the line when we're not even here anymore. You're going to ultimately be celebrated. You really will be, and somebody's gonna be like, "Oh wow, I didn't know my great 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 was into that or did this," and they're gonna be like, "Wow, you're that person's spitting image." Seriously, it's like if you see like old pictures of, I don't know, a great great whoever, and you look at them and you look at the picture and it's like, wow, you're like, wow, you really do favor that person. And you start looking at the picture and you can tell by their mannerisms and all of that stuff like that. So it's just, you grow on people really fast. You really do. You grow. That's why things are going to start shifting. It's like something about that person. You know what? People are probably doing research on you right now, because you may be popping up. Like I look across this thing and, I don't know if anybody's watching, because I get on, I don't, who knows? People, I don't know. But somebody could be watching. You never know. They might be like, man, you know what? That person may be a pretty good, great keynote speaker for our next blah blah blah. So don't stop speaking greatness over your life just because you have great things coming in. You continue to be great by having the great mentality. That's how you continue to move forward. That's how you can, that's how you continue to win. Also getting, don't blow these opportunities. Also getting, don't do not blow, I'm also getting, do not blow these opportunities. Like really and truly do not. um it sounds good, but it's gonna feel even better this time around. Like really and truly, I'm talking about like this is your Cinderella moment. You know, I was getting like somebody sees it glass half full, glass half empty, but that's them. But anyway, you have a different way of seeing things. Your vision is different. You're built different. You were built to like you were built for times just like this, where you see everybody freaking out, folding, blah blah blah. You're like, okay, well, this happened earlier in the day. Let me go enjoy the rest of my day. Like really and truly. But you're gonna have your Cinderella moment. There are people, positions, opportunities. There are moments that um that are coming just for you that you are going to. I was, thinking earlier in the week that sometimes and sometimes you have to go to the opportunity, for the opportunity to happen, and that's just what it is, or it could be a lesson or whatever that is. But your Cinderella moment is where you put on that glass slipper, and it's gonna feel like a fairy tale, because it's you're gonna be like, man, you know what, but in my mind, I had it working out like this, but it's like every slot machine you pulled, you hit the jackpot the same day. I mean, come on, that's that is unheard of. So you're um call back the generational things that was lost in your family. You're calling back. I'm just giving y'all some manifestation tips, prayer tips. Call back all of that stuff that was taken away, that was lost, that nobody ever heard of. I'm telling you, you're gonna get all this stuff back. But yeah, it's you're going to have you're going to have like this fairy tale moment, or these fairy tale moments where things are going to be changing in your life. Your mindset is changing, people reaching out to you, these new brand deals. It's and this stuff is going to be, this stuff is going to be happening over, going into later on in the year, going into next month, and this month, and all of that good stuff. Great, good, great grand tidings that are going to be coming to you, that you triumphantly deserve, that you really and truly, triumphantly deserve. This is um, you're going to be the poster child for how to win, like how to miraculously win. How to wait. You're going to be the poster child for the how to miraculously win starter kit. People are like, how in the world? People are going to look at your life. They're going to look at you and be like, you told us all of these stories, all of this stuff that happened to you, all of these things that continue to happen to you. How in the world did you, how in the world did you get to that point of your life and everything just shift around? How did you go from homelessness to multi-millionaire? How did you go from $5 in your bank account to making six figures that same year? Like, how in the world, um you're gonna act, people are gonna have questions. People are, and you're going to be very beautifully positioned to have these retreats, have these groups, have, just, you're going to be able to put your own stuff on, really and truly. That's how big your name is going to be out there. So it's not the fact that, um, it's not the fact that you're going to have to sit and wait by yes, you're going to get the emails. Yes, you're going to get the phone calls, and, stuff may come in the mail and all of that stuff. But, you know, um, your vision is so grand. Your vision is just, your vision is just, um, your vision is apocalyptic. It's just that big. Your vision is just that big. I'm not saying apocalyptic in a bad way. I'm talking about like your vision is revolutionary. That's why you had to go through. That's why it took a little bit more time than what you would normally, than what you would normally see now. But even still, you were diligent, even though sometimes you probably like me, you probably started, stopped trying to figure it out and all of that stuff. But you were like, you know what? Let me pack this bag and let me pack this bag and go. When you get the words, when you get the word downloaded into your spirit, you and you cannot. The game is on the line. They're putting the ball in your hands. You're not the fifth. You're not the 15 person on riding the bench anymore. You're stay. I don't know somebody. you know you're um you're Michael Jordan. I guess that's the best. You're Muhammad Ali. You're the greatest now. So expect great things in not just a lane, but like lanes. And execution is going to be it's like you're what did Kobe say in that commercial? He said, "Are you the same animal but a different beast? You're different." That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you're different. I'm not saying that you're not different. You're not different in a bad way. That's the thing. You stop trying to compare yourself. Stop trying to compare yourself. Is your journey, your journey is unique. Your journey is just unique. There's just no way to compare it to. I know we like to do that a lot, but now it's time for you to focus on your greatness, the things that you overcame and all of that stuff. So looking at other people, that's cool, but you're going to help you now in this season. Based on everything that they told you that you couldn't do, your will, how you will these things, how you probably went down to the dealership and your credit score was whatever, but they gave you the deal of a century, seriously. And you're driving this new, yeah, somebody's got a new car coming in. So I'm talking about driving cars. But anyway, um, yeah, so you're not in the bus lane anymore. You're not. You're it's your new vehicle, you're in the fast lane. You're driving in the fast lane. But just know that in this fast lane that you can you deserve it. You can handle this. And again, if you're watching for the first time, don't forget to follow. You can miraculously handle this. I don't know, I'm seeing somebody, if you're someone who does like hair or something, hair or makeup, um, your channels are about to blow up, and you're about to have celebrity. You're going to be having celebrities fly in. They're going to be flying you out. So it's going to be like,
It's
where.
9 o'clock.
Well, thank you, computer. They're these big name people, like not just like movie stars, actors. I'm talking about like CEOs and all of these people. They're gonna want you to come to their events, style their people. Like seriously, where you see people who have like millions of followers, blah blah. They're gonna like, no, I want that person. No, I want, because certain people, like like I can look at people and it's just a gift. Certain people have a way of seeing something in you. They can walk up to you and like, do you blah blah blah, or do you XYZ. They can look at you and just see style. I'm telling you, these people, what's going on, Miss Jada? So these people are going to be walking up to you, approaching you. So like I said, it's it's not just the email, the phone calls, the mail. These people are going to be reaching out. Like I've told people things years ago, and I've forgotten all about it. And someone, hey, you remember that time you said blah blah blah? And I'm like, no. And they'll be like, how people come back with the pressure, and that's great. I'm happy for them. But you say so much. I've done so many of these lives and all that stuff, and you say so much that you forget about that stuff. But just to say that, you know, you're just get ready for the big stages. Get ready, and like really and truly. Oh, thank you. Like get ready, like really and truly get ready for the bigger, the grander stages. This is some of the stuff maybe on social media, but your 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 platform is going to be somebody may actually maybe a year or two from now, somebody is going to walk up to you and put an offer on the table for your platform. They're going to be like, man, listen, I need your platform. Like really and truly, they're going to want the name, they're going to want everything lock stock and barrel. They're going to be like, listen, I'm going to write a number on this thing, and you might look at it and be like, "Whoa," like, but you're the value of the value of your stock is just going to continue to rise. You've got we're at the point now where it's not just about your state or your city or the states that we live in. It's global in implications. Everything is changing. Everything is now up for grabs. That's the key point. Just telling you, go do stuff. You're going to be doing stuff that's going. Oh, no. No, so you're you're going to be doing stuff that is going to be I don't know, you're going to be doing stuff that's so you're going to be doing stuff that's going to be blowing people's minds. You're really and truly going to be doing stuff that's going to be blowing people's minds. So it's almost like God is going to put you in a child seat where you can't mess this one up. Like if you have a kid and they're from, I don't know, whatever months to whatever age, one or two, they need the child seat in the back, because the regulations and stuff. So the heavenly regulations that are around you, that you're not going to be able to mess this up. You're going to be on the mark. It's like you're going to be on the mark, like you're going to be on the mark like every time. Put this into your prayer life. Don't just believe me. Put this into your prayer life. Write this on your vision board. If you got a prayer box, a prayer closet, start writing these things down. Start writing these things out. These things are why am I getting that? I'm getting supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. But like I said, I gave the example of you're going to have these Cinderella moments where that people are looking for you. They're looking for you now. The glass slipper is going to be put on your foot. It's an exact match. It is going to be, and it's going to be an exact match. It's almost like when they said the what in the story, the at midnight the pumpkin turned back and something. So at midnight everything changes for you every day. At midnight, the say midnight the in the midnight hour they will talk about this in church. That's where you can pray and really cry out, and if you can have the ability to speak in tongues and all that stuff. That's when things are going to. That's when your spiritual guide, your team, is putting in work. God is watching you. God has always been watching you. God has always been with you. I had to learn that in my journey. In the beginning, it was shifty. I'm like, Lord, where are you? It was something. It was something different. But I made it through that, and I'm thankful. It made me so much stronger. My relationship, my relationship with God didn't really my one-on-one personal consecrated relationship with God didn't really change until I kind of wasn't at the church. because it was me, life, and God, and all of these supernatural things that I was seeing and hearing and dreaming about, and all of that stuff. Just put it in perspective. But yes, God is with you. God is real. God is amazing. And when when you get something in your spirit, you'll know. Like you'll know. Things will be so quiet. It'll be so peaceful. It'll in the blink of an eye, it'll come out of nowhere. You'll hear it. You'll know. Seriously. God could be a person with little words but powerful results. Like really and truly. My I was working this job, and I told the story before, but I was working this job, and I didn't know that this was gonna be my last day. I went in there, some stuff happened, and I stood my ground. I said, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm not comfortable with that. And they were like, okay, well, just go home, and But before I left, I was walking to the car, and all I heard was that, "Do you trust me?" And I said yes. And and I never looked back. You know what I mean? So I mean, they say, if God before you, if God before you, who can be against you? But if y'all have any questions, please put them in the chat, whatever. But yeah, they say, God be, they say that if that's why always give God the glory, man. I don't care what, I don't care 6 months, 10 years from now, people say about me. My relationship with God is great. That's just what that is. Above and beyond what I look. They say look to the hills, and that's what I do. So yeah, but yeah, I keep getting that song. You remember that? I don't know if y'all heard the song. What she says, not much longer now. Things are about to shift quickly. Who sang that song? I don't know the lady's name. It says it's a gospel song. Well, y'all probably know what I'm talking about. But she keeps saying, not much longer now. Like, black folks serious when they start clapping their hands. Like I told you to get out my. Seriously, man, I'm having a clapping praise moment over here. But anyway, but yeah, so you have now and into the rest of your life for your greatness to come in, and things that you're going to be able to, whew, things that you're going to be able to pass down, to things that you are going to be able to pass down. Um, and monster getting, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So there's going to be some other things that people are going to try to sneak in there, and but your discernment, probably like mine, is always it's always on 100. So I remember one time, it was a few years ago, my friend and I, we were in a park, we were just talking, hanging out. So we see these people come, and they have these cameras and all this stuff and these backpacks, and they're setting some stuff up. So we were curious, so we walk over there and say, hey, what do the guy was like, oh, uh, it was a Caucasian gentleman, and he was like, yeah, we come and we set up stuff for the community. We pray and we give certain stuff out, blah blah blah. I was like, oh, okay, well that sounds cool. And so the gentleman was like, okay, do you guys need prayer? So I shook his hand, and I could ultimately tell something wasn't right with his spirit. Like I was like, no, I'm good. Me and my homeboy looked at each other. We were like, nah, we're cool. So but the what do they call it? The fruits of the spirit, man. I'm phew, Lord. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all I have, y'all. But again, don't forget to follow. I'll be back on here tomorrow, same time. Normally jump on right after I, work out, and about 8 Central Standard Time. But all right, y'all. What time is it? I think it was like a little bit 9:10. Yeah. But all right, y'all. Look, have a great Thursday. Happy early TGIF. Have an amazing day, and I will holler at y'all tomorrow. All right, y'all. Peace. Oh my goodness. Sit on handed.